Hello and welcome to this week's Live Local and Loud with me, Kevin Gaughan. On this week's show I shall be chatting to young Laurence from local blues rockers Chambers. And we'll be playing lots of homegrown music by local bands. Hello, I hope you're all well and are having a great week, as indeed I am. Let's kick this week's show off with a bit of revival, headed by the wonderful Daz Lynch, who I actually saw last Friday at the Western Park auditions in the Sunny Sound House in sunny Leicester. He was on his own doing an acoustic set, and it was a fantastic set it was too, as indeed it was a fantastic night. Anyway, enough about that. Here's Revival and Promised Land.
Break your fall, I hear you.
That was the wonderful Revival and Promise Land. As I say, I saw Daz Lynch. He's the frontman of Revival. I saw him on his own doing an acoustic set at the Western Park Festival auditions last Friday at the Sunny Sound House, and that was a fantastic little gig, and that promises to be a fantastic little festival actually in Western Park, usually on sometime June-ish, I think. June-ish, July-ish. No, it's a bit. I think it's around the middle of the summer, July, Augustish. Anyway, it'll be in our wonderful gig guide in music in Leicester. Meanwhile, let's have a band who like crunching their numbers, and it's Urania and Calculating the Age of the Universe. That was the wonderful Urania and Calculating the Age of the Universe. Earlier I was talking about Western Park Festival. It's actually on the 22nd of July 2023. Okay, so now it's time for a little bit of Yeah, Yeah, No and the Superimposed Man. That was Yeah, Yeah, No, the Superimposed Man. Of course, they were an iconic band in Leicester about 30 odd years ago. Did a comeback gig last year at the Y Theatre, which was a fantastic comeback gig with Prolapse, another iconic Leicester band from the past. And just looking at Yeah, Yeah, No's Facebook page, it says they're going to be coming back in the new year, so look forward to that. And they said that at the beginning of this very year. So yeah, that was Yeah, Yeah, No and the Superimposed Man. Let's bring it a bit more up to date now. Here's Yoda Club, It's You.
You said to me, I don't know how to be your enemy. I want it all today, completely. It's nothing short of what you want to feel. It's fading. It's nothing short of what you want to feel. It's gone. It's you. It's you. Fall from my feeling. There was a time when I could look at you. I
was the wonderful Yoda Club and It's You. Okay, so it's time for this week's interview where I'm chatting to lovely Laurence from local blues rockers Chambers. But first, here's one of their songs, one of their old classics, Miss This Train.
Watch your hand on my wheel, and you best step off my track. You left to love another man, now there's no turning back. Now it's my time to go there, won't even turn left or right. How am I gonna make it through this dead of the night, the dead of the night? And it's good not to feel pain and not be haunted by your ghost. Now I can use my hands again, remove the noose in my robe. Now I sidestep up my chair to top the swell of your mind that they will never whisper. So why you wasting your time? Wait.
That was Miss This Train by the incredible local blues rockers Chambers. And this week's interview is with frontman and the man with the gravelly vocals himself, Mr. Laurence Findlay. Hello there, Laurence. How the devil are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Excellent. I'm more than awesome. Thank you very much for asking, especially now that I'm chatting to you, because I can't wait to be finding out what you've been up to. Okay, so and thank you very much for joining me on my little show today here on Live, Local and Loud.
No worries. Thank you very much for having us.
That's quite all right. Right. Just briefly, for those that don't know the band, how many people are in the band? Would you like to say who they are and what they do?
There's three of us. There's myself, my brother Edward. He plays the bass guitar and sings backing vocals. And then Alex Pearson, who is our kind of percussionist, drummer, and does backing vocals also.
Wow, he's a so yeah. You're a 3-piece. Have you thought about being a 4-piece?
Not really. We quite like being a 3-piece because obviously me and Ed are related, and then Alex is like our closest best friend, and we've played together for so long. Introducing a new dynamic, we're kind of going back to square one.
Yeah, I suppose you're like best buddies then, really, aren't you?
Yeah, it works for us, and we just enjoy spending time together inside or outside of music. And then to add anything extra to that, I think would just kind of mess with what works for us at the minute.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, all right then. And I don't think I've asked you this before, but what's with the name? And I don't mean Laurence, I mean Chambers. How did that come
about? When we first started playing, only myself and Alex were like what you would consider musicians, like could like learn an instrument, played an instrument, and studied music like here and there. Wow. And we both wanted to play together in a band. So then we forced Ed to spend all his, I think it was his 14th birthday. Told him to buy a bass guitar. You can play with me and Alex. It'll be really cool. And twisting his arm. Right. And then he didn't. I know, bless him. But then we're like at square one. Ed had never played the bass before, so the only song we could play for a good few weeks was the track Molly's Chambers, because it was relatively simple. And then when looking for a name, we just took it from that.
Now, Laurence, here's the thing. Now, obviously, I've been going to lots of gigs over the months, and over the years, and Chambers don't seem to have been featuring very often. In fact, if at all, recently on the local music scene. So you seem to have been a bit quiet. So what you been up to then these days?
Yeah, so I think since the end of last year, we haven't really gigged much. We've still been practicing and jamming, but we've decided. We kind of made a joint decision that we put all our resources into getting our own recording equipment and all the malarkey that comes with that, and the having to learn how to use it, work it, and the money side of it. But just to give us the chance to be able to, and we have a fantastic recording space in my back garden in an obnoxiously large shed.
Oh wow!
But then we now have all the gear and the space and the setup to record ourselves in our own time. Yeah, which is something we really wanted to try, because we tried it when we first became a band a while ago, doing it when we lived with our parents in my mum and dad's kitchen. That was fun, but we've got the opportunity to do it kind of semi-properly and see what it can do for our music that way.
Wow. Must have been a bit of a faff with all the soundproofing and stuff to make sure nobody else can hear you.
That was the worst part. I mean, obviously all the gear and the money and all the stuff you have to buy is just ridiculous. But then having to actually do DIY to soundproof a shed proved the hardest part.
Crikey, I can imagine. And get the acoustics nice in there as well for the instruments.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I've tested it a bit, like a bit of guitar, a bit of drums, a bit of singing. And it's one of those ones where it shouldn't work, but it actually sounds really good. It's just one of those kind of random occurrences where it sounds really quite good when it shouldn't.
So what made you decide to do your own one, and why aren't you like most bands just hire out a studio? Why haven't you done that?
We still hire out a studio to rehearse in, because we can make much more noise in this, like the proper rehearsal studio, as opposed to in the kind of the shed in the garden. But we've always kind of liked the idea that we are like a live band. We strive to be good at being a live band, and we've done albums and recordings before, and they've gone really good and the outcome's been really good. But we've always been a bit anxious and found it quite daunting in that studio setup environment of just someone obviously who knows everything, and then we find that quite kind of daunting to us, and it kind of puts us in a nervous position, I think. So I thought if we have it all ourselves and just kind of be a bit loose and free with it, we might be a bit more creative or mess around a bit and see if some better things might come from it.
Right.
And trying to act super duper professionally and under time constraints, obviously, because you're paying for rehearsal time. I thought, oh, well, wonder what will happen if we take it the other way and we just kind of be a bit more relaxed about it.
That's a good point, I suppose, because at least there, like you say, if you hire a room for an hour, then you're under pressure to produce something by the end of that hour. Whereas what you've got now, you lads can just come round sort of in the morning, I suppose, and you can just sit there and for several days, I suppose, in your little studio until something comes out.
I think my girlfriend would be a bit concerned if I just disappeared for. I mean, as much as I'd love to, but she might come looking for me.
So that's what you've been up to then since you've been quiet. You've been building your own studio. What about music? Doing any new music?
Yeah, so we've got new songs that are like fully formed and fleshed out that we've played at gigs and played in certain places, and so like we were ready to go to record them, and then I just had this idea: what if we just do it ourselves and see what they come out and sound like that way? And then so we've got a good like 4 or 5 that we're going to put on an EP, we think, and then we're going to see if we can actually accomplish this in ourselves and see what we can do with it ourselves.
Brilliant. Okay. All right. Then. Well, we'll talk a bit more about that after the break, but let's play another one of your old classics. Ooh, Raise the City. Before we do, can you just tell us a little bit about it? What's the inspiration? Is it about Leicester? Raise the City?
It is a bit, actually, yeah. Just because when we were at that point of writing the song and we were out kind of playing gigs around Leicester, we always, like, until we met certain people that would put us on bills where the artists were similar, we always felt like the odd ones out. That
right.
we were the only kind of bluesy-ish bands where we were playing with a lot of bands that weren't that way. Which, I mean, they were all fantastic bands and great bands anyway. But every time we would kind of saw the lineup or that we'd finish playing, we're like, oh, we really are like the only ones we knew of, until we were then introduced to the world of other blues artists and things like that. So
yeah,
within the area.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit that's a good point. Actually, yeah, I just realised you're quite right. I think you're probably quite unique in that area. I don't think there are that many, are there, blues rock bands?
No, most of them we've played with have come from outside of the city. Really.
Yeah. All right then. So it's Raise the City, as in let's get more awareness of blues rock in Leicester. Is that right?
Kind of, yeah. I just thought it sounded like a cool lyric, and it's one of those ones where you try and put some explanation behind it when really it sounded really quite cool. So I stuck with it.
Excellent. Love it. Okay, so here's Raise the City by Chambers.
last to hear me cry. It was the weed that put the fire in me. It was the weed that showed me how to be. So raise your city, raise it down, raise your city, turn the ground, raise your city, raise it down, raise your city, turn the
That was Raise the City by the Incredible Chambers, and this week's interview is with frontman and the man with the gravelly vocals himself, Mr. Laurence Findlay. Actually, Laurence, talking about your gravelly vocals, how did that come about? Is that did you? I don't know. Did you just start singing and find out that was your sound, or how did it come about?
Yeah, a little bit like that. When we first started playing and singing, I think most young guys go through it anyway, that you're really conscious about singing because it's a weird level for you to be at vocally. It feels, I felt it was really uncomfortable. And I always got told I couldn't sing and I shouldn't sing. So that made me a little angry. So then I just kind of I started shouting a little more.
Right.
And then I just kind of honed it and found it quite a comfortable and easy and nice tonally sounding thing to do. Oh. And then I just over the years just kind of kept trying to perfect it and add little bits and bobs to it as much as I could. Oh, okay. And get it to a point where you're not, which used to happen when I did first started singing gravelly, is you'd get kind of 7-8 songs in and my voice just wouldn't be as good in the end of the set as it was at the start. So then that was like the next level of trying to sort it out and find where my lane was. And plus I could never sing soft and nicely. I can't do it. It feels really weird and uncomfortable for me.
So now that you're singing with it in this style, are people still telling you not to sing, or has that gone a bit quiet?
Well, I kind of think if I get louder, I won't hear them. So,
yep, good point. Yep.
No, it's been all right. No one's told me again yet. But there's always time. There's always someone, isn't there? So. Yeah,
that's it. It certainly won't get that from me. I think it's great. I love it. And it really goes really well with the music as well. It's lovely. Just as you say, as long as it doesn't get too tiring by the end of the night. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that was the only issue I had with it to start with.
Okay. So your new studio then, have you recorded anything in it yet?
We're set up ready to go in the next weekend or so. I've been kind of tinkering and messing with it myself because there's so many levels to it. Like I did music at college, but like the setup of recording it, being in the right positions with mics, and then mixing, then all these things, that's kind of re-jog my memory of something I'd done years ago.
Right.
So I thought, right, I'm going to sit in there and just have a bash at every instrument myself to see if I can get it. And then now I think it's all right. And we've got the songs ready to go. So we'll just have a weekend where we just Friday evening through to Sunday, just bash a couple of bits and pieces out, hopefully.
That's it. Get a few beers in, get the lads around and
Yeah, I would say, but those two like to have a beer when they play, but I can't drink and play. It's a weird thing. Okay. I know a lot of people say that it kind of makes them feel looser and all that, but I get really self-conscious when I have a drink and start playing.
Oh. What you think? Oh, okay. You think sort of people might be looking at you because you're drunk or something.
Yeah. So then that goes through my head, and then my guitar playing and my singing starts to get worse.
Right.
Just
Oh,
just
okay.
because I'm in my own head that way.
Have you actually got any new? Are you actually working on new material at the moment? Then.
Yeah, so we have the last time we did a rehearsal, we wrote a new song. It seems like a. It's always like we write all the music, and then I have to sit there and listen to what we've because we always like demo it on a phone, and then so we just so you got the idea of the structure, and then when you go back, you can figure out bits and bobs of it. But then I have to listen to it on a phone and fill the rest of the lyrics in because I only usually have like one verse or a chorus. So then I'm
Right.
sat listening to it for ages, filling it in. So all the structure's there to record the structure. I just then have to sort the lyrics out and go in and pop the lyrics on top.
Excellent. So you are working on new material then?
Yes, yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So you're coming out with a new EP or LP?
It depends. By the EP is the idea at the minute. Unless by some pure magic we write 3 songs that we think are really good, then we'll just extend it.
My vote goes with an LP. I love LPs. Sometimes I get a bit annoyed with EPs because you get an EP with 2 songs, and then about a couple of months later you get an EP with another 2 songs, and you've got a whole stack of a load of EPs, and you have to keep changing them when you're listening to them. Well, I say you have to keep changing to listen. I'm a bit old fashioned. I still use CDs.
So do I.
Oh well, it's better if you don't have to change it over every 2 minutes.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
And I mean, like for us, like we've always notoriously written really short songs. So if we did a 2-minute or a 3-minute EP, it really wouldn't be that long.
That's it. So that sounds like you're going to do an LP then.
I'm hoping so. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Brilliant. In vinyl, what about vinyl?
So I'd it's just like a fun little Christmas present for the lads. Not year gone, year before. I ordered a pressing of some of our songs on vinyl just to like see if it'd work, and they were only like short singles, so I picked a couple of songs off the album. I was like, oh yeah, this is really good. Like they sounded really good. They looked really cool. They had the artwork on the front, and gave them to the lads, and then was like, oh, I just want to keep it for ourselves. Don't want to like. But I know if we could viably do it, we would. But it's you've got to match the kind of selling of it with how much they cost to have pressed and done.
I was going to say, I mean, to actually get your Christmas presents done, then that must have cost a lot, mustn't it?
No, to be honest, it wasn't because it was singles. It wasn't too bad, and I always like we always spoke and like dreamed about like how cool it'd be to actually have your music pressed on a vinyl, like a bit of a keepsake. So I think Alex has played his. Ed just kind of has it as a memento keepsake. It's just like a nice little token of something like we've achieved and done together.
Yeah, okay. I must admit, I like vinyl because it's especially with your sort of music, sort of bluesy music. It's just the whole sound of it that I like. It just sounds nice and warm, which I really like. So yeah, okay. All right then. So you're currently working on new stuff. Got any gigs lined up?
Yeah. So all we've booked in so far is in summer festivals, bits and bobs like that, and then a couple later in the year in October that we've been asked. Already this early to do, which we've said yes to. Excellent. Some of them are acoustic gigs as well. So we've got we're notorious for being like loud and electric, so we're having to kind of hone an acoustic set for.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Which is
any local ones?
So the Wharf is. I think that's more like Nottingham or Northampton way, but that's like a cider festival that we play at quite regularly. That's nice. At the 25th of August. But
well, I know in Blaby, 22nd of July.
Yeah, that's 22nd of July. There we go. Yeah, you know more about it than I do, and I'm meant to be playing.
Well, it's just as well, really, isn't it? So Blaby Beer Festival, that sounds great. So whereabouts is that? Oh, that's at the Leicester Lions ground.
Yeah, so they redid the Leicester Lions kind of clubhouse area bit a couple of years ago, and it's a really good. Like we've done it a couple of years running and sporadically here and there when it was always called that festival, but situated in somewhere a different place for some reason, and then now I've just shifted it there as a home base, and it's really good. I mean, we play mixtures of covers and originals at that one, Because when you're playing at the end of the night and there's people that have been there all day drinking through the festival, you kind of want to chuck a few covers that they like to dance.
Yeah. Okay, that's brilliant stuff. And so nothing like Glaston Budget or anything like that, Western Park Festival?
No, we did Glastonbury ages ago, and it's unless we can figure some way out to kind of which the lads in the V's are playing on the main. Well, not V's anymore, either they're called the Novas. But
are they?
The main,
I didn't
yes,
know.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
I don't. Yeah, they changed their name not long ago. But like we would like if we could apply to play the main stage. But when we did it a couple of years ago, and you play at the smaller original band stage, you kind of the people you get are the ones that are walking past the stage to go and watch the tribute acts. So we always kind of swapped that weekend out and did a different festival somewhere else.
Unless you get a marquee and it's raining outside, then it'll come
very true. Yeah.
That's it. All right, brilliant stuff. Okay, excellent. And how can people follow you, Laurence? Follow the band.
So we are on Facebook. It's just search Chambers, or if you need the proper URL, it's chambers.mus.midlands.
Yeah.
And then it's the same on Instagram, but it's with an underscore. And I think they're really the only ones we use properly.
Right. Okay.
We don't have like some bands now have a TikTok. We don't. I think we might be too old for TikTok. I don't quite understand it myself.
All right. So that's brilliant. Yeah, I noticed your Facebook one is chambers.mus, isn't it? Like you say,
yes.
Slightly unusual, .mus.midlands.
Yeah, we put it as that ages ago, and then I think we might have to change it at some point. But
okay, all right, and brilliant, excellent. So let's play your last song today. We're going to play Rooster. So thank you very much for chatting with us here on Live, Local, and Loud. And can you just tell us a little bit about Rooster, please?
Yeah, sure. Rooster was a song that we wrote in like when lockdown first kicked off, and you could meet people in a garden or spread out in like so many people in a house or something like that.
Right.
And it's one of the only songs that we've written acoustically, which was quite interesting. And then you can tell in the song because the drums and the bass do most of the work, really.
Oh. Right.
I'm not really playing a huge amount on my guitar,
right?
And yeah, it was an interesting writing experience, writing that one and then Bone Broke, which we did both acoustically. We've never ever done that before. We've always sat and written songs at a rehearsal with amps up and all the electrics, but actually getting to sit in a room and kind of work on bits like that. And then that's why that song has so many like backing vocal harmonies from Alex.
All right, then. So thank you very much for joining us today, Laurence. And I can't wait to see you on July the 22nd at Blaby Beer Festival. That sounds fantastic at the Leicester Lions ground. Until then, here's Rooster by Chambers. That was me chatting to lovely Laurence from local blues rockers Chambers. Great to catch up with them after their period of silence and see what they're up to. That brings us to the end of another live Local and Loud with me, Kevin Gaughan. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, if you want to listen to any previous shows or any of the interviews with any of the bands that I've done here on Live Local and Loud, as it happens, I've interviewed all of this week's bands that were on today's show. You can check out musicinleicester.co.uk and there's a handy playlist on the right hand side. Don't forget, also in musicinleicester.co.uk there's a very handy gig guide of gigs coming up in sunny Leicestershire. So do have a great week. I shall see you here, Hermitage FM, 5 o'clock next Thursday.